of loving service to opening you up to living a life that you truly love and to tap into your creative genius mind in order to do that. So I'm Janet Grace Nelson. For those of you who are new, looks like we have lots of new names and faces. And I also want to encourage you to put in your questions and or requests to either explain something deeper or focus on a specific area that you would like to focus on. And we'll go a little bit further into that as we continue in the webinar tonight. But happy September to everyone. And my name is Janet Grace Nelson. I love working with amazing, conscious people who are really ready to take their life to the next level and let go of frustration or that energy of stuckness and really tap into that passion in you that wants to express itself and to really prosper doing what you love and living a life that you love and feeling a greater sense of yourself through your health and well-being, through your financial freedom, through your creative work in the world, whatever that may be, and more dynamic and loving relationships. So we're going to tap into many of those areas this evening. And as you're listening, and if you haven't already grabbed a pen and paper to take some notes, because this is all about you. And as you are on this journey and in this environment tonight, that's really called the mastermind environment, because we're all here to support each other's success, which in the simplest definition, that's really what I believe a mastermind program is all about, is to support each other's success, to support each other's growth and expansion and ability to really live a life that's full and feel a greater sense of yourself on this journey. So as we're going to begin tonight and we're going to be tapping into your genius mind, I'm going to be sharing some concepts that might be new or this might be a repetition for you. And one of my mastermind teachers and deep spiritual coaches was Bob Proctor. And he said that repetition was the greatest teacher. So even if this is a repetition for you, that you've heard these things before, start with a beginner's mind. Open yourself up and just let's take a deep breath together. And as we settle into this moment, this time, this space together, let go of all the busyness of the day. Let go of your to-do list, what you did accomplish, what you didn't accomplish. Let it all be behind you so that you can be fully present here and now for you, for all the reasons known and unknown that you said yes to coming on this journey tonight, to be here in this group environment, to support your journey of expansion. And this is all about you. So as we are going to let this party begin, I'm going to share with you these 6 mental faculties that make up your genius mind. And each and every one of us was born with every single one of these. And as you start to understand the deeper significance of these gifts, of these mental faculties that you were born with, and you start using them in service of your dreams, your desires, your wishes, all the things that you would love to experience in your life, you can start understanding where it is that you can dial it up a little Dial up your intuition, dial up your imagination, dial up your perception, dial up your reason, dial up your will, dial up your memory. And as we start dialing things up, we start feeling a greater sense of ourselves and a greater sense of power that is right where you are. You have the power to create anything in your life. And so as you're going about this listening this evening, and please, I invite you to ask questions, um, ask me to focus on a specific area. If you want to focus more on relationships this evening, we can zero in and take this teaching and really focus on relationships, or we can focus on health and well-being, or we can focus on your creative expression, otherwise known as your work in the world. Whatever feels like it would be of greatest service to you, don't hesitate. Put it in the chat box. So I also want to say that as you are taking notes this evening and listening for, in your own space, listening for the areas in your life that you would like to focus on. and focusing is is connected to the faculty of the mind called your will. When you are laser focused on something, you're utilizing that part of the brain that you are willing, and you are standing in a whole new dimension and a whole new power of yourself. So as you are opening yourself up this evening and listening from a deep level of how can this serve me? How can this serve you? How can this serve your journey? How can this serve some of the places that you're feeling stuck or stagnant? And ask yourself this question also. Do I believe that I have genius quality in me? Let's dial that up tonight too. Let's dial that up. Let's allow your mind to really build a bigger believing about yourself and about the power that you wield with every single thought that you think that's creating the life that you're living. And as you do, really listen for how understanding each one of these 6 mental faculties, these 6 gifts that you were born with, how can your understanding of them assist you in creating and growing and expanding your life the way you want to? So tonight I'm going to be sharing how these genius qualities are actually in each of us and how we can use them. And it really is about understanding it happens one brilliant idea at a time. So as you are looking at the deeper understanding of these 6 mental faculties, really let yourself be open to a deeper listening, to an understanding of what that mental faculty, how you could up the ante, how you could dial it up for yourself to actually experience and to take notes on, if I used my intuition, how could that up level my life? If I used my imagination in a bigger way, how could that up level my life? So stay in that question too. Mary Morrissey, my spiritual mentor and life coach, says, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you're willing to ask yourself. So stay in that question. How can knowledge about these different faculties actually help me in my life? So the first one is intuition. And we all of us in the personal growth and development area of life are mourning the loss of a very dear friend and a dear mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I'm sure that all of you know him and know of him, know of his great works, know of his great teachings, his programs, his books, his knowledge and his generosity of his understanding of really the invisible principles of life that with greater awareness are brought into our physical existence. And he said that intuition, prayer is when you're talking to God, and intuition is when God is talking to you. This mental faculty of the mind, it's actually also one of the 7 chakras. Our third eye is connected to our intuition. But also, our third chakra is our physical body's intuition. We all have been had an experience of having a gut reaction to something. Like that's how our body responds and reacts to fear or something that is going to put us in danger. So our body, our intelligent body, has so much wisdom to it, and it's speaking to us all the time. And it's our willingness to listen that can assist us in using this beautiful faculty of the mind and faculty of the body, the intelligence system that your being is. And when you dial this up, you start trusting those inner nudges, acknowledging the inner nudges as guidance for our more joy, more peace, more freedom, more fulfillment, more fun. What is it that you are calling forth for more? And by quieting the monkey mind and opening up that part of you that has such wisdom and such connection to this infinite universe that has all the answers for anything that you could ask. The moment the question is formulated, the answer is available. And it's your willingness to quiet the mind, open the heart, and really listen for the answers that are here to guide you, to serve you, to protect you. And also, when those nudges come in threes, that's when you really need to pay attention. That's when you really need to listen. And when I was moving from one career to another, I had a very successful jewelry design business for almost 20 years. And my intuition, my inner nudge, was telling me, there's something more. There's something more. I didn't know what that more was. And first it was just a whisper or a feather. Then it got louder and louder. So think about times in your life when a message has come to you and then you hear it again and it's louder. And sometimes it shows up on a billboard. And you're like, okay, I'm listening. Now what do I do? Right? The nudge becomes this 2x4. That's it. That's here to really get your attention. Because life is always calling for you to experience more. The moreness of you. The more joy that's available. The more peace that's available. The more feeling a sense of your work in the world is making a difference. I was very fulfilled in my jewelry design business. It was tapping into my creative juices. I had 3,500 stores that myself and my 11 employees were servicing across the country. It was what I call an idea that came to me that then went from being a garage band. I say I was a garage band that grew into a corporation. And it was a wonderful journey. But there was a nudge that kept knocking, saying there's something more for you to do. So I kept listening. So I'm encouraging you, when you get these intuitions, when that part of your mind and it starts speaking to you, and you're open to listening, what does that mean? And sometimes it's a discomfort in your heart. Sometimes it's just, there's either a discomfort, or there's a desire that's calling for you to really move forward in your life. And most of the time, it's a combination of both. So as you're listening for your intuition that's nudging you to express more of your true self, and it's always such a beautiful opportunity for you to listen and get to know that part of you that's called the big you, that's filled with big ideas, so that you can experience more of life. And as you're tapping into that truth of you that really wants to express and experience more, it is the truth that will set you free. There's a sense of freedom that comes when you are really living in your truth. And I'm actually starting a group program September 17th that's called Set Yourself Free. And it's 7 keys to unlock your hidden potential and radiate your greatness. And it's going to be a 7-week journey. And we're going to go deep into the process of building a bigger life from the ground up. And so if any of you are interested, just go onto my website, janetgracenelson.com, and there's lots of information and a video clip explaining some of the things that we're going to be doing that are really going to open you up. But intuition is the way in which you stay in a touchstone to you and to what life, your life force, is calling forth for you to experience more of you. So as we're moving forward, the second mental faculty, the second gift that you were born with, was the gift of imagination. Imagine, I love this quote by Edison, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. We think in pictures. We create in our life, we create in our mind's eye first something that is either moving us in a forward direction, or it's taking us further away. And the problems occur when people use their imagination backwards. And an example of that is, for those of you who are parents, if your 15-year-old daughter hasn't arrived home safely and it's 1:30 in the morning, where does your imagination go? And we can use our imagination in service of our dreams and desires, painting the images and the pictures of what we do want, not what we don't want. So seeing your daughter safe, seeing that she just ran out of juice in herself and wasn't able to call you to tell you she was safe. We have the power within us to create really dynamic, rich images. And you want to do that with all of the things that you are calling forth for your life's experience. So I saw myself as a teacher, as a speaker, as a retreat leader. I saw myself helping people. I saw myself writing my books and being on big stages and really helping people to grow and expand. I saw that first in my mind's eye and in my imagination before it became my physical reality. So if you think of even what you decided that you wanted to study in college, excuse me, and you were looking at what college you wanted to attend, and you saw yourself there first. You saw yourself. You used the power of your imagination. And as you can tap into that, you can also use that same power within you to create the images of the things that you truly want to move forward with in your life. What's the next phase of your life? What images would you love to create? What do you believe is possible for you? And as you start painting those pictures, and Bob Proctor used to say, if your dream isn't big enough, you're probably taking up too much space. So you want to think big. You want your images to be big. Next year, I'm going to take a group to Costa Rica. I'm taking another group to Bali in September. And I absolutely know that as I continue to build a bigger believing and see the images and paint the pictures and know what we're going to experience when we're in these beautiful sacred places, I get to tap into the power of my imagination before it's actually the reality that I'm experiencing. When Roger Bannister ran the first Minute Mile, he ran it in his imagination first, over and over and over again. And it became so vivid and so real in his mind's eye first before he crossed that finish line in his physical body. That's how powerful your imagination is. And you want to be able to use it on a constant and continuous basis, painting pictures of what it is that you would love to experience. So, moving forward, perception is our third mental faculty that we're going to be talking about tonight. So, how do you see yourself? How do you see many things in your life? So, I had written down a question, and as you are looking at the different ways that you can shift and grow your perception of your life, of your capabilities of creating a life you truly love, you have to turn the dial up on your perception of yourself, of your abilities, of the possibilities that are out there for you. So if you change your point of view, your whole life will change. And as you are growing and expanding your perception of your life, let's look at some of the areas that we can up-level our perceptions. So with your pen and paper, ask yourself, what perceptions do I have about my finances? What do I believe is possible? What perceptions have I held on to so tightly that I haven't opened myself up to a bigger believing, a bigger possibility for myself? And most of these things are seeped in our subconscious mind. And I talked a lot about the subconscious mind and the way the mind works in last week's webinar, which all of the recordings are available on my website, once again, janetgracenelson.com. And there's a section called Weekly Wednesday Webinars, and there's probably almost a dozen of them now. And as you are staying curious to how can I gain a greater understanding of some of these truth principles that are here to assist me and help me to grow and expand in my life and in the areas that matter most to you. Take a peek at some of these webinars. Last week I talked about how the mind works, the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And our perceptions and our beliefs are deeply rooted in our subconscious mind. And we're not even aware of them. And as you're asking yourself these bigger questions now, what perceptions do I have about finances? Maybe in your childhood, your parents said, there's only so much money. We don't have enough. Don't take more than your fair share. Money doesn't grow on trees. Which ones do you resonate with as a part of, yeah, I was raised with that and I haven't really challenged it. So I guess it's still a part of my reality in what I believe for myself and what I also believe is a cap on what I'm willing and open to receive. Because the truth is, we live in an infinite, abundant universe. And it's bursting with new ideas all day long. And it's your willingness to stay curious to the questions that are helping you to expand. And this is one of them. What perceptions do you have about these different areas? What perceptions do you have about your health or your body or what you're capable of? And what perceptions do you have about family or relationships? Maybe there's been a string of a lot of dysfunctional relationships in your life, in your family. And your belief or your perceptions are that, dysfunction is normal. Like this is part of life. This is how everybody is. But what if it wasn't? What could you create as a new perception, a more empowering belief about these areas? What could you up level for yourself by creating a whole new idea? And the universe's first currency is not money, it's ideas. So as you start standing in a bigger space of believing that you are open and connected to this infinite universe, one of the ways that I had I use humor as a really powerful teaching tool, and fun is a high value for me. And I go into, what are our values that we are living in the quality of the life that we're creating. And when you start understanding the values that are important to you, you can look at the different areas of your life and say, where is it that I need to up the ante of that value? And fun and humor are a big value for me. So as I was really asking myself, what do I want in my loving relationships? And I wanted to create relationships that were filled with fun, that were filled with supportive, loving, kind, giving people, relationships. And that helped me to open up to what qualities was I willing to recognize in myself that were either in alignment with that or not in alignment with that. And I started living at a higher level. and asking myself through a series of questions, because once again, I'm going to repeat that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you're willing to ask yourself. And an example of that is when you're feeling as if someone has wronged you, you could ask yourself, why do people always do this to me? And you'll get the answers to any question that you'll ask. But that question is not a very empowering question. And it will assist you in going into the Rolodex of your mind for all the reasons and all the people that have ever wronged you. And that's not a very empowering way to go. It's not moving forward in your life. So a more empowering question, even in the same circumstance, would be, what do I need to do? And what do I need to think and feel to assist me to move forward at this time? And then your mental Rolodex is going to be thinking of other things. Maybe it's go to a movie with a friend. Maybe it's treat yourself to a nice meal. I don't know what it is for you, but I know that when we entertain more empowering questions, we feel more empowered, and life shows us the different ways that we can experience the things that are important to us. More fun, more freedom, more fulfillment. We know that those are across the board what most of us are looking for in our life. And we're all looking for ways to live with greater passion, greater purpose, and really prosper doing what we love to make a difference in the world. So as you are thinking about and writing down some ideas about new perceptions that you're willing to entertain on these different areas of your life, and maybe pick one area that you are specifically working on at this time. And it could be your relationships, could be your finances, it could be your health and well-being. And just give yourself permission to make this about you and play full out and write some new things down. Because once again, it's what our perception is what we think about, we bring about, good or bad. So you want to continue to up the ante of your perception and your beliefs. And I go deeply into this in our programs, because the ways in which we can bust through the ceiling of our old paradigms, our old beliefs, the old ways of thinking that have maybe served us up until now, but you're in a whole new place in your life. Maybe you're ready to really take off, and you're ready to move into this new phase of your life, and you want it to be the best phase of your life, because that's where you are right now. And if you are right there right now, also on my website, I have a gift for you called the Break Free Session. And it's a 30-minute session focused specifically on you, where you are, where you see yourself going, and what's holding you back. And so it is my honor and pleasure to help you to take that 30 minutes to really laser focus on where you are, what you're working on, and how we can get you to that vision of what you're holding for yourself. So there'll be another invitation at the end of this webinar. But at this point right now, you're really allowing yourself to think bigger. And as you think bigger, there are ways in which you can also understand now this fourth gift, this fourth mental faculty of the mind called the memory. And in the Alice in the Looking Glass, the queen says to Alice, "What did you do tomorrow?" And she says, "I don't know. It hasn't come yet." And she says, "Well, that's a pretty poor memory that only works in one direction." So you have an opportunity to tap into your genius mind and create a future memory, and hold on to that with a new perception, with the gift of your intuition, with utilizing your imagination in Technicolor life, and create a future memory. I call these your visions. So in with all my clients, these are vision-driven programs, because as we can catch a vision for an idea or a life that we would love to live, or a way that we would love to live, feeling healthy and vibrant and alive and doing things that that give you a skip in your step. And what is it for you, uniquely, individually, and creating a future memory for your life is a way that you can spend more time looking in the windshield of your life instead of spending time in the rearview mirror and looking back. I shoulda, I woulda, I coulda. Because you have the power to create some images that really light you up, that really make you come alive. And you want that for yourself. And the more alive you feel, you're radiating that out to all your family, to all your friends, to the people in your community, to the people, your employees or your employers that you're sharing your journey with. You feel a greater sense of aliveness when you are tapped into your genius self and you are making steps and strides moving forward intentionally. And there's actually a really powerful program that I did called The Power of Intention. I think that was the second or third weekly webinar. So it's another one that you can, listen to and really gain a concept, really grasp the concept of the idea of the power of your intentions. And that also feeds into how it is that you are going to create this future memory for yourself. What do you see for yourself? What kind of vibrant health are you experiencing? What kind of loving and giving and exquisite relationships are you experiencing? The giving and receiving of unconditional love in all of your relationships. What future memory are you open to describing and declaring and claiming for yourself at this stage in your life? So another mental faculty of the mind is your reason. It's our logic mind. It's the one that keeps us safe. So it's basically seeped on the left side of our brain. Our left side is our logic, our reasoning. It's the one that keeps score of things. And it's an important, valuable aspect of your genius mind. And it has great purpose. And there's always a way for you to tap into that reasoning mind that sometimes will sabotage your heart's desires. So being very clear about, is my logic mind, my reasoning mind, stopping me from living a life I would truly love? And asking yourself that question. When I'm taking my clients through one of the first phases of really establishing a way in which you can really look at the dreams and desires of your heart and asking yourself some bigger questions. One of the things that I always say is, Jiminy Critic, he actually sits on my shoulder. And when you're in that discovery phase of what kind of life would you love to design for yourself, I always say Jiminy Critic's not invited to this party. Don't let Jiminy Critic stop you before you even allow that dream and desire to be written on a piece of paper that allows you to say, ooh, I would really love that. I would love that. And so as you are looking at the different aspects of your life that you want to grow and expand in, don't let Jiminy Critic play. Don't let him come to your party, because he will shoot down your most creative, juicy ideas before they even have a place to land, a real place to expand, and a real place to explore. What would that look like? What would that feel like? Using your five senses, what would that taste like? Ooh, I'd love to go to Tahiti with my lover. Ooh, and if your reasoning mind says you don't have the money for that and you can't take the time off and blah, 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 it's going to squelch the dream before you actually even get it all the way out. So pay attention to when your reasoning mind is stopping you from allowing your heart to really be open to, ooh, I would love that. I would love that. The sixth mental faculty of the mind is the will. And our will is very important. And it's not willpower, so it's not forcing it, but it's about laser focus. It's about focusing on your dream to the exclusion of all outside distractions. Because if that dream came to you, it came for you to give you the opening and the opportunity and the possibility of that dream becoming a reality in your life. And so as we stay focused, as you hold the image of that vision in your mind's eye and keep seeing it, and even when you feel that you are aware of a distraction, you can say, no, I'm not letting that distraction get in the way of me staying focused on what I would truly love. Because when I think about that, when I envision that, I feel alive. I feel this great sense of myself. It's scary and it's exciting all in the same breath. And you want to be able to know the difference between those and move through that gap. That's really what I help my clients do, is bust through the gap of where you are, where you see yourself going, and holding your hand and your heart every step of the way, even when you stop believing that it's possible. Hold your hand and your heart up the ladder, up the steps to summit to that success, called your vision, called your dream, called what you would really love for your life. And focusing on that to the exclusion of anything outside of you, any other distractions, is a very powerful, important aspect of your genius mind. Very, very important. And so as you are looking at the different ways that you can utilize these six mental faculties, your genius mind, that make up your genius mind: your intuition, your imagination, your perception, your reason, your will, and your memory. And you want to really have a deep understanding of how you can utilize these aspects of your genius self, of your genius mind, to create the life you truly love. So the question is, what would you love? What would you love? Does something in your intuition, speak to you and say, "Ooh, I would love that. I would love that." Part of your imagination can expand on that idea. And next week, I'm going to be going through 4 steps to the creative process and how it is that we actually can take this genius mind, your creative genius self, and play. And really play in the playground of infinite possibilities for yourself, for your life, in all of these areas. What would you love? What would you love to do? What work in the world? What has been nudging at you, saying, "Ooh, I have a great desire and a capacity to be a healer, but I don't know where to begin." This is the first step. This is the first place. And then take advantage of the break free session. Go on to my website. Go on to janetgracenelson.com for the complimentary break free session. Put in your name and your email address, and it'll a calendar will pop up, and it'll tell you what times are available, what time slots are available. Pick one, and it's a date, you and me, and it's laser focused on what is it that you would love to create for your life. What would you love? Health and well-being. Maybe you're struggling with some health issues right now. You just don't know, how can I feel better? How can I move up in the ladder of experiencing greater health and well-being, more vibrant health? Maybe it's relationships. So whatever it is for you, give yourself permission to play in a bigger playground. And this is a month of September, and I have there's a free meditation, a monthly meditation that's always on my homepage. And this month of September is called Spread Your Wings and Soar. So where is it that you can soar? Where is it that you can expand in your life? The ideas that you have about your life. What is it for you? And as you do, you want to really know that your real work in the world, the most important thing that you're here to do, is to love your life. Love your life. Be at the highest vibration. And as you're loving your life, you're showing everyone else how to do that. By example. This is the most important decision that you're making for yourself in your life. You want to feel that. And you want to say several times a day, you want to pinch yourself and you want to say, "I love my life. I love my life. I'm so grateful for all the amazing, loving people in my life. I'm so grateful for the vibrant health and well-being that I'm experiencing. I'm so grateful for my career that assists me in helping amazing, conscious people take their life to the next level." You want to say these things on a constant, continuous basis and really feel that, because that's why you're here. Reverend Michael used to say, "We're not here to be anti-bored until we die. We're here to live full out. Live your most vibrant life." What does that look like and feel like for you? And like I said, it's my great honor and pleasure to gift you with a complimentary break-free session. And school's in session. It's September. School's in session. And maybe it's time for you to really learn more about yourself. Maybe it's time for you to go back to school and really give yourself that space and that permission to say, you know what? I love myself. I love my life, and I want so much more. And I'm ready to take that leap. I'm ready to expand in the areas in my life that matter most to me. And it is my great pleasure and my honor to assist you in really moving through and transforming the life that you're living today into one that you truly, truly love. And it's available now. So, once again, it's been my honor, my pleasure to be on this journey. If you want to go through and watch any of the other pre-recordings of the weekly webinars that I've been doing since June, tap in. They're on the website, janetgracenelson.com. And then, if you've received anything valuable today from this webinar, and you're on Facebook, and you're a Facebook friend of mine, please don't keep me a secret. Share something that you loved about this webinar. Share something that was an insight or an aha or assisted you in having a bigger understanding about something that you are going through, or even a bigger idea about the life that you are creating. And once again, it's been my great honor and my pleasure to be here with you. I look forward to seeing you next week this time, and we're going to be going through the creative process, the 4 simple steps that you can tap into your creative genius self and expand the playground of your possibilities called your life. Once again, don't keep me a secret. Share me with your friends and family. I really appreciate it. I honor and I acknowledge and I am grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. Good night for now.